Hi everyone, welcome back. We're going to wrap up by discussing a very common sequence of verbs. That sequence is group by, summarize, arrange. So first we're going to group by a particular characteristic or trait or category, and then summarize the data based on those categories. In our case, we have data at the country level, and we may want to have summaries by region or by year. So we'll group by the category that we want to summarize. We'll do the summary. The summary could be a mean, median, min value, max value, standard deviation, what have you, and then arrange the data based on the values of a certain variable. So that's the sequence that we're going to look at today, and we're going to continue on with the example that we've been building in this module, the combination of World Bank and V-Dem data. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we'll start a new heading here, and we'll call it Group, Summarize, and Arrange. We are going to first group our data by region, then summarize the data, and then arrange it in descending order or ascending order based on the values of a particular variable. That's what we're going to do. And so we'll go ahead and insert a code chunk. We can give it a label, group, summarize, arrange. It's a long label, but it works. And from there, we can go ahead and start writing our code. So we should have everything loaded in terms of packages. dplyr should be loaded. So we can go ahead and just say we're going to do group, summarize, arrange, and we're going to save our new data in this object called dem summary. Dem women. So we're going to use the dem women, dem underscore women data frame that we created in the last lesson. And then we're going to pipe that into group by, and we're going to group by region. Okay. And then we're going to summarize a number of the variables, including polyarchy. And I'm just going to list the variables first here. GDP per capita, FLFP, female labor force participation, and women's representation. Okay, and we can just start by taking the mean of each of these. So we're going to have mean polyarchy. We're going to do na.rm equals true, which means that we want to remove the NAs when we're calculating the mean here. So we're going to say na.rm equals true. We'll do the same thing for GDP per capita. na.rm equals true. We'll do the same thing for FLFP. na.rm equals true, and we'll do the same thing for women's representation in FLFP, na.rm equals true. Okay, so let's go ahead and see these data. Dem summary. And so there you have it. Now we can see that we have a new data frame, dem summary, which has the summaries of these variables, polyarchy, GDP per capita, female labor force participation, and women's representation for each of the regions in our data set. Africa, Asia, Eastern Europe, Latin America, Middle East, and the West. Okay. We could also, if we wanted to, just instead of storing it, we could just run it like this. and then it would just give us the table in Quarto. And in fact, why don't we just leave it like that? And we can play around with this a little bit. So maybe instead of mean, we want to take the median of polyarchy, and maybe instead of GDP per capita being the mean of GDP per capita, we want the max value. Let's just say, for argument's sake, and then for female labor force participation, we can do a different summary, the min value, and we can run that and see what we get. Okay, and then in this case, we're getting for polyarchy, we have the median value for each region. For GDP per capita, now we have the max value, female labor force participation, the min value, and then women's representation, we have the mean value. Again, this would be the max and min value within the region, so the country with the maximum value, the country with the minimum value, and then the other two would be median and mean. Okay, so we can summarize in different ways. And then the last step of this could be to arrange it. Oh, I made a mistake, sorry. Let me go back here. So I have mean FLFP. I want mean women's, maybe you caught this already, mean women's representation. And now this isn't going to work because I don't have the full code here, but let's just run that. Okay, and that's the mean women's representation in each region. Okay, and let's say I want to sort on that variable now, the mean women's representation, and I can use the arrange verb to do that sorting. I can sort in descending order by polyarchy, or I just said I was going to do women's representation, so let me do that. And there we go. It is sorted in order of women's representation. Or if I want to do it in ascending order, I could go ahead and change that. Okay, or if I wanted to do a different variable altogether, I could do that. All right, and so that's the basic workflow there for group by, summarize, and arrange that you should be familiar with. A very common workflow. So let's go ahead now and just render our document, just get in the habit of doing that. Now we're going to render it as HTML. And so when that's finished, that should open up in a web browser, and it should look like this. This is our finished HTML document for this module. And then let's go ahead and do one more thing. Let's change the format to PDF, and let's save the document or render the document as a PDF file. And this should work so long as you have TinyTech installed. We did that during the setup process at the beginning of the course. Okay, and now if your document rendered properly, then you should have a PDF document like this. Usually opens up in the web browser, but you also find it as a file now saved in the project folder. So you could click on that and open it with your favorite PDF viewer, whatever that is. But this is essentially what the PDF document looks like. And that is basically it for this lesson and this module. See you in the next lesson.